Good day, Dr. Bagarinaw and classmates. My topic for today is about teaching strategies in history of science, multiple intelligences oriented approach via student centered activities. The outline of the presentation is as follows: challenges in the 21st century learning. Then I will be explaining multiple intelligence by Howard Gardner. I will also explain traditional versus modern method of teaching, the effects of teacher learning styles, and strategies for multiple intelligence approach via student-centered activities. Even before we can improve the teaching strategies in science, it is important for us to understand first the global challenges of the 21st century. Educational leaders, classroom teachers, students, and parents will agree that the 21st century teaching carries with it a complicated mix of challenges and opportunities. Challenges included the issues of teacher turnover, accountability, changing student populations and student expectations, mounting budget pressures, and intense demand to build the 21st century skill. Before we proceed to the meat of the topic, do you even know these jobs? These jobs were not existing before, but because of 21st century, these jobs were created. Now, what are the challenges of the 21st century learning? First is that there is higher standards for learning. Next is that there are more diverse students with greater educational needs. There are also greater expectations of schools for ensuring success and greater need for education in society and economy. Since we are already in the 21st century, there are skills that the students need to learn today so that they can be competitive in the changing job market. These skills involve learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Learning skills include critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Literacy, literacy skills include information, media, and technology. And life skills include flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. Because of the ever changing skills in the 21st century, it is important for us to learn the different strategies so that we can allow the students to be involved in the education. Now, this topic would involve the use of multiple intelligences oriented approach via student centered learning activities. In 1975, Howard Gardner believed that each person cannot be defined only by scores that they get on their exams, since they have their set of skills and intelligence that makes them unique from one another. He stated that intelligence is the ability to solve problems and innovate ideas more than the cultural setting the person has been used to. He classified these sets into 8 categories. These categories are namely intrapersonal, interpersonal, naturalistic, logical mathematical, linguistic, spatial, musical, and bodily kinesthetic. These are the 8 multiple intelligences as proposed by Howard Gardner. Since education has shifted from the traditional to modern, it is important for us to involve and incorporate the multiple intelligences to maximize the learning of the students. The traditional method of teaching is already in its subjective state rather than the objective. Teachers argued that they had experienced success in existing educational environments. Therefore, they failed to realize the potential insights of learning and teaching through constructivism. This method of teaching limits the possibilities of students learning the different areas of science, resulting in the students' lack of critical thinking for problem solving and decision making. It is important for us to understand that effective teaching should adapt to the needs and interests of the students in order to improve the learning and make the subject matter useful to them. And in order to keep the students' attention, teachers should use varying teaching techniques during a lecture. In education, it's not really how smart you are, it's how you are smart. And how you are smart impacts the way you teach. By using the different multiple intelligences, We can change our learning style and it can have effect on our teaching. For the verbal or linguistic learner, this teacher would stress a curriculum based on language, reading, writing, and speaking. Here, the students would be alert with more concrete learning styles. If the teacher would use the logical or mathematical learning style, the effects of teaching would be this. The teacher would tend to concentrate on concepts that are both logical and abstract. Here, it is important to make a deliberate effort to focus on the fact that it is appropriate for students to be artistic and to think in intuitive leaps. By using the visual or the spatial learner learning style, the teacher would provide great learning environment for visual learners. The artistic students will do well in this classroom. It is important here to build in an adequate opportunity for students who are linguistic learners and for those who feel artistically inhibited. For bodily kinesthetic learners, the teacher will encourage experiential learning and have lots of movement in class. It may be a challenge to both the logical learner and the interpersonal learner. For the musical or rhythmic learner, the teacher will tend to have a relaxed classroom but may find it hard to relate to those students who are not in tune with music. For the interpersonal learner, this teacher generally uses cooperative learning in the classroom. Students will feel free to interact and are expected to do so, perfect for the extrovert. The teacher should be sensitive to the students who need to be alone in order to create, to learn, or just to be. And lastly, for the intrapersonal learner, this teacher will be a great support for the student who has trouble functioning in groups. Since we have learned that there are multiple intelligences, we can use that as an approach via student-centered learning in creating learning strategies that will be effective to the students of the 21st century. The first example of multiple intelligence approach via student-centered learning strategy is the use of performance tasks in class. Here is an example. Below are performance tasks. Choose which one of you can definitely do. In a blank, present the different healthy habits to protect your sense organ. Here, the students are asked to use different strategies or different things to do in class, including jingle, role playing, comic strip, slogan, rap, poster, poem, rhyme, song, mime, letter, and report. And they would have to present it in class. By using the different strategies listed here, the students would be able to use their multiple intelligence in class. The next example is the Think, Pair, Share as a learning activity, where the students with interpersonal intelligence can improve themselves and can master their intelligence because they have to team up with other groups or with other pair. Another teaching strategy to be used is the jigsaw puzzle. In jigsaw puzzle, the students would have home group and expert group. In their home group, they have different um, assignments. Then they have to break out to go to the expert group. Then after breaking out to the expert group, they have to go back and report to the home group where different learnings that they got from their expert group would be shared in the class. So this type of learning activity would benefit students since they would be able to use some of the multiple intelligences that they have in learning. Another example is the use of gallery walk. This learning strategy would involve the use of many multiple intelligences, including artistic, musical ability. There are other learning, there are other multiple intelligences that the students can use in doing gallery walk. You should try it to your students. Another activity that the students can do so that they can use multiple intelligence is the use of the four corners teaching strategy. Here, you pose a question to the students and they have to go to the different parts of the classroom to find out if they agree, disagree, strongly agree, or strongly disagree. Here, they can roam around the class and they can be able to share what their feeling is or what their reaction is. And with this, learning can be easy for them. Another learning activity that you can do in the class is by using learning contract. Here, you let the students create a contract wherein they would have to write down a topic, what they have to do, what they have to read, what they have to look into, what they have to write, what they have to draw, what they need, how will they share it, and the deadline that they have to finish it. So with this type of activity, they would be able to really use their multiple intelligences. Here is another example of the learning contract wherein the students would have to choose whatever activity that they have to do. They can create a report, they can put on a demonstration, they can set up an experiment, they can create a song, they can make a movie, and there are other things that they can do. I think this activity would be beneficial so that those who are weak in some intelligences can improve their whatever intelligence that they have. It is important for us teachers to use different learning styles so that the students can learn in class. Now, it is important also for us to take note of the multiple intelligence of the students so that when we design learning activities, we would know that they will be excited and they would always be involved in the learning activity. So teachers, don't let anyone ever make you feel like you're just a teacher because you change the world every single day, one student at a time. Thank you so much for listening.